All right, guys. So I think we're just going to get started already. It's almost 10 minutes past the due time. So once again, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Trust that you all are doing great. You all are doing well. So give me a minute. I'm going to share my screen. But whilst I do that, um, so I am sorry. We are sorry that this week's content, I mean this week elements content are just getting uploaded. Okay. So you pardon me there, you pardon us there generally. So and I believe we should already have access to it. So as a result of these, we might have to I mean this will be communicated to you later on by Ajiboye, but like I said, we might have to like reconvene midweek, probably on Wednesday. Yes, probably on Wednesday, but then it should be communicated to you by Ajiboye. So yeah, just for us to like have a run through of this week's video also. So so far so good. um I believe we've all been consuming the resources on the LMS. So I'm just going to use this take a minute to take feedback, questions, clarity from anyone, because I mean that's what we are supposed to be doing on this call usually, aside running through the whole LMS content. Okay. So yeah, if you have any feedback, you are free to go on. If you have any question, any observation, any clarity to get, please go on. You have the floor, please. If I am not getting any question, that means we are all good with the LMS content, and that means this class is not necessary. So I need to hear someone speak. Okay. Someone raised their hand, and I can't see who did. Okay, yeah, doing so. Please go on.
So about the LMS content, how can I say? The only thing that I just find, I don't know, you're actually audible, but I just wish if it had capture and it also has autoplay, like after the video, the next video, rather than clicking on play.
Oh, okay, okay. Rather than you having to do the click to play, it should autoplay by itself. Doing so,
Like
is that what you're saying?
yeah, it should be like the next video should just be autoplaying.
Automatically play.
Yes,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Understood. No problem. Any other person?
Yeah, that's what I just believe. And sometimes maybe if it adds capture captions that you understand, I'm seeing the subtitle. Maybe probably I'm just used to the subtitle. But maybe that is a me. But I just wish the next video should be auto playing itself. Not like I should be clicking play.
All right, no problem. And as for the caption and subtitle, I believe we are all speaking Nigerian English. So well, though, yeah, that's duly noted also. That's duly noted also. But then, like I said, I believe we're all speaking Nigerian English, so I actually don't really see the need for that. I mean, the reason, the where I get to see the need for caption or subtitle is when you are taking, say you're taking a course by an Indian man, or by a Ghanaian, or by, I mean, a British man or something. So yeah, then we would be needing caption and all of those. But then your observation is already taken into consideration. We'll be taking into consideration. I'm going to relay this, and then yeah, thank you. Um, any other thing? Any other question? Okay, okay. So that means we are all good. So that means this class is not necessary. Okay, that's very good.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Jibre. Yeah, go on. Good evening. How you
Yes,
doing?
I'm good, sir. I'm good, sir.
Awesome.
So about the LMS,
Yes.
um, I'm not sure there is apart from that soft skill and the AI, and the AI. I think there is no issue with it. Actually, I'm not sure there is issue with the LMS for anyone. So I think it's just the soft skill and the AI skill that is not working. The videos that are not working. I think that's just the only thing.
Okay, okay. The videos are not working.
Yes, yeah. So they are not reading and recording as when we watch your videos and it ticks that we've
Okay.
seen
Have
them.
you reached out to
Yes,
Mr.
I
Isaac?
did. So he said
Okay,
that is
okay.
how it will be for now. That's how it will be. That we will just be watching those ones via YouTube.
Oh, okay, awesome. Awesome. Now that's good. I hope you've communicated this to everyone.
See, I'm not. Most people are not complaining. So I think everybody is just watching via YouTube. I think I did. Yes, some people that came into my DM, I told
Uh,
them about it.
all right, awesome. So, thank you. So, yeah, guys, I've actually been having an oversight. Okay, I've actually been having an oversight, and over the week, over this concluded week, I got clarity about that. So I've been having an oversight that we are watching one content. I mean, 1 week, one content. I mean, one lesson. You're taking a lesson per week. But over the week, I got the clarity that we are actually taking a week content, like a week lesson per week. So which has kind of like impacted the classes that we've been doing. I don't know if you guys have noticed in the past class, I have engaging what I would talk about, what I'm going to touch, and all of those. So I am sorry that was an oversight on my hand, and we are going to have like a real brush through today. Okay, so we are going to I'm going to be having a real quick brush through with I'm going to be having a real quick brush through. Just give me a minute. Let me just pull up my yeah. So we're going to be we're going to be starting. We're going to be having like a very quick summary. We're going to be starting with the basis actually, which is the starting from the HTML, starting from HTML. Okay, so we have been made to understand that HTML means hypertext markup language. So this is for this that I'm doing now is just to have a brush through and for people that like me that like to have like a reiteration over the courses or over the content they are consuming. Okay. So yeah, we've established that HTML means hypertext markup language. It is the language of the web. It is the markup language of the web. So if you're building websites, you're building web apps, regardless of what framework you are using to build it, it's all still needs to compile down back to HTML because as long as you want to view it on the browser, it needs to compile down back to HTML. Okay, it would always need to compile back to what HTML. So we've spoken about how oh yeah, before we get to HTML, we spoke about how the entire internet works. You being the client with your device and the server sitting down somewhere holding all of the resources that you want to access. You send the request to the server responds to you and give you what you send a request to the server processes your request and then gives you what response. So that is why we are going to be sending requests to server and server gives us response. So what we send to the server is called a request, and what we get back from the server is called a what a response. Okay, and we've established that basically when it comes to web development, when it comes to web engineering, there are two parts to it. We have the front end engineering, we have the back end engineering. The front end engineering is the ecstasy, the color, the button, the animations, the flows, the feel that you're seeing. Okay, what back end engineering is what stores the logic. What type of how are we going to store user data? What information are we storing? What database are we going to use? When the front end sends email and passwords to log in, how are we going to process it? What are we going to return to them? Are we going to be returning token? How are user going to be logging? Are they going to be logging with email and password? Are they going to be logging with Google Earth? Are they going to be logging with GitHub? All of those are backend. Okay, backend holds our logic, holds the database, stores our data. So that's backend. So front end basically is the beauty, okay, the finance, the button, the click, the scrolls, and all of those things. That is the front end. While backend handles the logic, okay, backend handles the logic and stores our data basically. Also, we've spoke about we had established what text editor we're going to be using, which is VS Code, and then we established that we're going to be using web browser. So we had a little bit of run through with VS Code. We had a little bit of run through with VS Code. Advocating advocating for VS Code, establishing that VS Code is actually a very good text editor. It comes with IntelliSense, and it comes with some cool extensions. Okay, some really cool extensions that makes your work easy, that gives you IntelliSense, that gives you suggestion, a lot of those things. Okay. And with Git and GitHub right in your VS Code, you might not even need to go to your command line before you can actually make a commit. Okay, you can just use the you can just use your source control to actually make your commit and all of this, and you can actually raise a PR right inside of your VS Code without going back to your GitHub in the browser. Okay, all of those things are what makes VS Code our go-to text editor. Okay, now we've talked about HTML being hypertext markup language, being the language of the web. Regardless of anything you're writing, it always needs to compile down back to HTML. We've established that we have 6 heading tags, H1 to H6, H1 being the biggest and H6 being the smallest. Okay, H1 being the biggest and H6 being the smallest. And we have the paragraph text also, I mean, just like the name implies, to have the paragraph in your website. Okay. Um, yeah, we spoke about links and the tag. Okay, to have links inside your website, you can either decide to have your website linked to another your web page, okay, linked to another web page. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick question. I'm going to run through. I'm going to make a quick guess. I'm going to pick at random and ask this question that I want to ask. Um, yeah, Palumi. Ọlọ́run tọ́lá pẹ̀lú mi. Are you there? Ọlọ́run tọ́lá pẹ̀lú mi.
Hello,
Okay.
sir.
Oh, hi. Hello. Good evening.
Good
So,
evening, sir.
I have a quick question for you.
Hi. Okay, sir.
Don't be scared. It's just a very simple question. Okay. So we have vocabularies, website, and web page. Tell me, what is the
Yes.
difference between a website, or what is a website, what is a web page, how are they related, how are they different? Yeah. Believe me,
Sir,
you're
please
muted.
repeat the question, sir.
Okay. You've heard the terminology. I mean, through all of the LMS content and our meeting, we spoke about websites. We spoke about web pages. What exactly is a web page? What exactly is a website? How are they related? How are they different? Elimi, are you there?
Yes,
I mean,
I'm
it's all
confused,
cool. We
sir.
are all here to learn. We are all here to learn. So you can just say anything you understand, and if not, then we can pass it on to someone else. I mean, you can actually pass the ball to someone else. So pick someone that you want to answer the question for you.
Okay. I think a website is like a room that houses so many things, while a web page is like a room inside the website.
Oh yeah. I think Ramon just raised up his hand. It might be by mistake, but he has raised up his hand, so he's going to help you out. Thank you very much, Balimi.
Right,
Tawhid,
sir.
Tawhid Rahman. I know it might be by mistake, but then you have to answer the question now. Thank you.
It was a mistake.
Yes, you have to answer the question.
You
I thank
answer
you.
like that. No mistake. No mistake. Answer. Um, um, a website is a collection of two or three more web pages. While a web page is just a simple page designed with HTML and CSS.
Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. Yes, yes, that does make more sense. Although Insola, you raised your hand. You want to say something?
That's what I wanted to say. I want to say a website is a collection of related web pages. Why web pages is just a document of the web, like a single document of the web.
God bless you. So thank you very much, doing Solar. Thank you very much, me. Thank you very much, Tawheed. They are very much on point. I'm very much correct, rather. Don't let me even say on point. They are very much correct. A web page is a single web document. It could be a single web document. Okay, a web page. I mean, these days actually, let me just correct this part. These days actually, we actually have websites that are single pages. I mean, React actually started out with single pages website. Okay, SPA. We actually started out with single page websites. Okay, but then we now have with React Router now we now have multiple. Sorry, we can now have multiple pages. Okay, you can have home page, you can have gallery, you can have contact, and all of those things. Okay, but then a website is a collection of web page, could be even a single page also. But then a web page is not a website. Okay, a web page is like a standalone web document. Okay, which can now become a website. Okay, I don't know if you all get that point. So yeah, we've established that. Okay, and also we spoke about. Okay, so I was talking about link. Yeah, before I forget. So we could actually have, okay, a web page being linked to another web page, or a web page linked to an external page. Okay, you can actually have a web page linked to another web page. I mean, in my website, I have 4 pages. I can link the first page to the second page to the third page, and link them all together. Or I can have my web page linked to another website. From my website, you can be able to get to Twitter. I mean, if I'm building a portfolio page from my website, you should be able to, from my portfolio page rather, you should be able to get to my Twitter page. You should be able to get to my LinkedIn page and my GitHub account. Okay, so yeah, we've established that. And then also the tags for we established that the tag that you use to link pages up together is sorry, I'm trying to do something here. Is the what is the sorry sorry is the anchor tag. Okay, you use your anchor tag to link your pages together. You use your anchor tag to link your page to together. So let me just share my screen real quick. Let me share my entire screen. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, so we've established that, and also we established that you can actually have images. Okay, this is how you put anchor tags in your web project. We'll talk about headings already. So you can actually have images in your website. So oh, I already shared my screen. I'm not supposed to. I was going to ask this question first. Okay. Anyways, regardless, Victor Timilehin, please, can you tell me the most important attributes of an IMG tag? Victor Timilehin.
Okay, sir, please can you come again with the question?
What is the most important attribute of an IMG tag? I mean, almost, yeah, it actually has some two essential tag, like very important tag, but like the most important, I mean, most important attributes of an IMG tag.
The SRC
God
for the
bless you.
source.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. So the SRC is the most important because without your SRC, so now imagine okay, let me just grab this, give me a minute. So you can sorry, who is that? Can you mute your mic? Sorry. Thank you. So now I have this image here. Okay. I have this image here. Now imagine I don't have this SRC part. Let me just comment this SRC out. Okay, so let me just call it out. So imagine I don't have this SRC. What happens? I'm not going to see anything at all. Even though there's okay, let me just put an alt here. So what you are going to be seeing is what is the alt attribute. Okay, the most important part of what when it comes to an SRC is the what the ing. The ing just has to be there because that is what is holding the source address. Imagine you are sending a dispatch rider somewhere and you are telling it just go and deliver it. I'd be like, excuse me, ma, excuse me, sir. Shey, well, okay, like you are telling me to deliver what to where without an address, without a destination. So yeah, the SRC is like is the destination where it's going to pick the file from. Okay, is the destination where it's going to pick the file from. And then the alt attribute is also one of the most important attributes. Also, it comes very in handy. It comes very in handy. Okay, that's the word the alt attribute because when your image is not showing or your image is broken, let's just put test tests. So when your image is broken, say this is now JP instead of JPG, that's when you get to see what is there. And also for screen reader software, oh, for screen reader software, this is what is going to read out to the um to the um to the listener of the web page. Okay. So also we've established how to use lists. Okay, before I even go on to that part, let me ask this question also. I'm going to pick at random. Kenneth, 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 what? Okay, I don't want to say this, but then I have to. What are the types of lists that we have, and what makes them different? Kenneth, hello, Kenneth, are you there? Kenneth Chijoke. Sorry, Chijoke. Okay, if Kenneth is not there, then let's go on to.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yes. What
So I
type
said we have on ordered list. And we have ordered list.
okay, so what makes them different?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So now ordered list has to do with like it's like self-described by it has to do with order and it's like it has numbering. Do you
Awesome.
understand?
Awesome. Awesome.
And nature. Why on ordered list it has to do with these buttons, has this disk and this thing. I believe. Okay, sorry. I think I'm getting it all mixed up. I don't know if I'm getting it mixed up, but
So
that's why
ordered
I don't
list,
know.
like you said. Okay, thank you very much,
Yeah.
Kenneth. If I'm right now.
Has,
Ordered list, like you
okay.
said, has numbering. Okay, has numbering, like you said. You are very much correct. And for unordered list, it just has bullets. Okay, you just have this icon signifying that this is the list, this is the list, this is the list. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, Kelvin. And one thing that is common to the two of them is what they all take in what list items. So if I'm doing an ordered list, okay, I'm going to have an OL like this, and I'm now going to have LI in between inside of it. Let's just say, um, let's just say, oh god, let's just say rice, and then we're going to say beans, and then we're going to say plantain. If someone raised their hand, you can go on and ask your question. Someone raised their hand.
Okay, sir, I want to ask that HTML is it case sensitive?
Okay, so it is
Like
not case. It is
property
not. Yeah, yes, I understand. It is not case sensitive, but it is. I mean, there's actually I don't know why SonarCube is not here right now. There's actually an extension that would flag this. If I do this, an extension, SonarCube is supposed to flag this. I don't know why my SonarCube is not working. So SonarCube is going to flag this because yeah, it doesn't make sense to do this. Okay, all of HTML tags has to be in lowercase. It has to be in lowercase. I mean, if you actually do, sorry, let me just change this ing now to capital letter. Go back to my browser. You see, it still works fine. Okay, it still works fine. But then, nah, HTML tags has to be in lowercase. Okay, It just has to be in lowercase. I mean, if I give you an assignment, if I give you a project, if you are working on a project, I am seeing you type div in capital letter. I'm going to be thinking about, just going to be thinking to myself, are you sure this guy is really a front end dev? You get what I'm saying? So, but then, yeah, HTML tags just has to be in lowercase, please. Okay, Victor, are we good on that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. So as for the back to the allies, back to the listing. So this also taking what allies also. Now let's say this is tea, and this is salad, and let's just stop there for now. So this also taking what allies. So the allies are basically what list items. Okay, it's just to be able to what list each item that you want to have in the list. The OL and the UL is what tells it what type of listing this is going to be. Okay, cool, awesome. So also we've get to talk about attributes. Okay, adding extra attributes to our elements. Now this brings me to ask a question. Okay, this is going to go to Abuela Usman. Abuela Usman, what extra attributes do we give to our anchor tag for it to open up in another tab? I don't want it to open in my current tab. Okay, say I have a link, I don't want it to open in my current tab, I want it to open somewhere else. What is that attribute
Okay.
that I'm going to give to it?
Okay, sir. That's target underscore blank.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's see that. So yeah, it's correct. That's target. It's going to have an attribute of target and then the value of what underscore blank. So that way, Tawid Rahman, you raise your hand again. I hope this is not a mistake.
Um, is there a mistake? I'm not seeing your screen. No, I was seeing it for a while. I'm not seeing it again.
Can everyone else see my screen?
Yeah, we can. Hmm, we can.
Awesome. So Tawhid, you might want to refresh, maybe go out and come back in again.
Okay.
Uh, Sorry about that. So yeah, moving on. So as you can see, and as Abola has rightly answered, okay, when we use target underscore blank, it actually makes our link open right in another tab. Okay, it doesn't open in the same tab, it opens in another tab. Okay, awesome. So also we've talked about nesting elements, having a div inside another div, having a paragraph inside a div, and all of those things. And then we talk about how you can embed videos and audios inside of your how you can embed audios and videos and iframes inside of your HTML. Okay, now let's dive into CSS. Okay, let's talk about CSS. Give me a minute. I'm trying to see where to stop and where not to stop. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about CSS. Okay, let's talk about CSS. First thing first, can someone here? I'm not going to call name. I just need someone to raise their hand and give me the answer. What does CSS mean? I mean, the full meaning of CSS. What does it mean? Hello.
Hello,
Yeah, go on,
Victor.
Anthony.
Cascading style sheets.
Sorry, what did you say?
Cascading style sheets.
Awesome, cascading style sheet. So CSS means cascading style sheet. Okay, it's like HTML is the bone. Okay, HTML is the bone, the structure. So CSS is the fine skin that you're going to put on it, the beautiful eye that goes on with it, and the beautiful air that goes on with it. Okay. Chijoke, your mic is unmuted. Do you want to say something? Chijoke, Kenneth, Kenneth. Okay, Kenneth is just muting. Yeah, muted. Okay, awesome. So yeah, so HTML is the structure. Okay, HTML is the structure, the skeleton, while CSS is what adds the beautiful skin, the fine eyes, the wonderful hair, and all of those things. Okay, now we've talked about how we link CSS into our HTML. Okay. How do we do that? You have what go into the head of your HTML. You put in a link element, and then it's going to point to that CSS tag that you want it to, or that you want to take your style from. Okay, and that way every style that you put there is going to apply to that CSS. You can see that now. You can see that this image got a different style. So let me just comment this out for now. Save this. You can see what it looks like. Now if I uncomment this, bam, you see it all came, they all apply to one particular style. So I'm going to create a new style sheet here because I don't want that style to apply it. So I'm going to just call this let's just call it app.css. Let's just go with this. So what I'm going to link here is not style.css but app.css. Save these, bam, and they all have their default style back. Okay, cool. So when you're writing CSS, first thing you want to do here is to do CSS reset, something we call CSS reset. So what does CSS reset mean? This icon is a universal selector. Okay, this icon is okay. We have four types of selector. We have the element selector, we have the class selector, we have the ID selector, and we have universal selector. First thing, element selector is when you are using the element name, like the img, the h1, the anchor 8 tag, the ol, the ul, the li. Those are element name. Okay, so when you are using that to style here, okay, that's element selector. Okay, so that's one. And also class selector. To use class selector, you're going to give your element a class name. Okay, I used to give this analogy so much. So imagine we have a party of HTML elements. Okay, we have a party of what HTML elements. Now the element selector is saying that okay, no, the universal selector. Let's start from that. The universal selector is saying that okay, everybody in this party gets a word, a souvenir. Okay, everybody in this party gets a souvenir. That's what universal selector means. So it means that every of the elements in your web page is going to get that style. So if I do universal selector, which is asterisk, and then open my style body, and then I say display none, means that nothing should display. So it's going to apply that none to all of the elements, and that is why we're not seeing anything here. Okay, so universal selector is going to apply to what? Every element right in that of your words, in that of your page that is linked to this CSS file. That is for universal selector. Now, for element selector is now saying, okay, oh, Wankara, oh, Jessemo. That's element selector. Now you're not saying that only people that fulfill a certain criteria, for example, only people that put on Ankara, or you can say only the females in the party are going to get lipstick as part of their souvenir. I mean, that does make sense, right? So only the females in the party get lipstick as part of their souvenir. So that is what we are saying when we are using element selector. Okay, you are not applying the style to all of the elements. Now you are being specific of the elements that should get the style. Okay, cool. Now, when it now comes to class selector and ID selector, okay, is now saying that, I mean, everybody in the party have a name. Okay, so he's now saying specifically, I want you to look for Cassandra in this party and give her this package. That is class and ID selector. So you are basically going to go into your HTML, give it a class name. Class name, let's just call it this is ordered. Let's just call this ordered. Okay. Now you give it a class name, and then you go back into your CSS. So hold on before we go out of this so that we don't have to come back in. Let's give this an ID of what? Unordered. Okay, cool. Now when you now come here, you're not going to look for what. So when you want to style, is when you want to style based on class name. So you do dot, and then comes what? The class name that you gave, which is what? Ordered. Okay, so now means that what? Look for this person, or this person that is being ordered in the party, and give him what? Color of blue. And then we'll come back here. We can see that only the ordered list have the color blue, not all of them. Okay, Cool. Now the same thing goes for what on other lists, but then when you are using ID, you do what? Hashtag. When you're using ID, you do hashtag. When you're doing class name, you do what? Dot. Okay. So now we're doing unordered. Okay, and I want them to have what? A color of green. Save these and bam, we can see this green here, blue here. Okay, that is what. So we've talked about the types of selector, starting from the universal selector. Everybody in the party gets a souvenir. Element selector, only the females in the party should get the lipstick. Okay, class selector and ID selector, only someone that goes by that name should get that package. Okay, that does make sense, right? Awesome. So now we talk about how you can have. We've covered in the LMS content. We've covered how you can add fonts. Okay, how you can add Google font into your what into your project. So let's just do that real quick. So for this, I'm going to go towards Google. I think it's fonts.google.com. Yeah, exactly. So fonts.google.com. So I mean, this is I've not used another fonts library except this, except when you download a fonts library somewhere and then come and embed it into your system. But most times I actually like prefer to use fonts from here. So if you have a font that you're looking for, you come to fonts.google.com, you search for the font. So for example, say I'm looking for let's look for Poppins. Sorry, no, Poppins. Yeah, Poppins. So this is Poppins. Don't let us use this then. So let's look for okay, Playfair rather. Let's look for Playfair. Yeah, so this is Playfair. Okay, this is Playfair. So if I want to use Playfair now, okay, all I have to do is what? Click on Get Font. Okay, and then it gives me two options. Remember, I did mention downloading. Okay, but then I actually don't like going through this downloading headache. So I prefer to just what? Get embed code. So when you click on Get embed code, I mean, there are different platforms that you can actually use. You can either choose to use it on the web, on Android, on iOS, or on Flutter, or whatever. But I mean, we are actually doing web, so let's just stick to our web. So for web, there are two methods of using it. You can decide to use the link method, meaning that you get all of these link elements, put them in the head of your browser. Okay, put them in the head of your what of your browser, or you go with what at import, meaning you get this and put it in your CSS. Okay, meaning you get this and put it in your CSS. So you can either get this, this import part and put it in your CSS, or you grab the old style element and put it in your HTML. So it still goes inside of your HTML. But I mean, when we are going to be doing this, why not just put it in our CSS? Why put it in the HTML? So when you are putting import has to be on the first line of your CSS, please. On the first line, don't put it here. No, put it on the first line of your CSS, please. Okay, cool, awesome. So now, when we come back to our web page now, our web page should have different fonts. Let's just refresh this a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to now change the text color, the text font rather, of the entire thing. So I'm going to do font family. That should be sorry. Let's just go back here. Playfair. Okay, this is what font am I getting? Oh, this is Gaze. This is oh yeah, it's Playfair. So let's just get Playfair out of these. Let's just do this. Playfair. What is this here? Okay, so, okay, this should work. Is it because I'm putting it in the universal? Okay, yeah, it's because I'm putting it in universal selector. So font family, Playfair. Let's just go back here and see what this looks like. Okay, we can actually see that these actually look different to every other element. Let me zoom in a little bit, sorry. You see that these actually look different compared to this. So this is Playfair in action. Okay, you can grab any font that you want here. If say you've been given a Figma file that contains a particular color, a particular font rather, sorry, you can come here, look for the font, and then you can apply that font in your code. Okay, awesome. Now let's talk about box model. So when it comes to box modeling, four things comes to play when it comes to box modeling. So when we are talking about to measure, when we're talking about box modeling, we're going to be talking about margin, padding, border, and then the content itself. Margin, padding, border, and then the content itself. Okay, so let's see a little bit of action. Let's come back here. Now let's have a div here that has a paragraph of, let's have a paragraph of, this is a test paragraph. Yeah. So now I'm going to give this a class name of, let's just give it a class name of first div. Okay, cool. Now let's go back in our CSS. Now we're going to do dot, hey, I should have asked this question. Dot first div. Now, what style do I want you to have? I want you to have an height of 100 pixel. Okay, and I want you to have of a width of, let's just go with 300 pixel for now. Okay, and I want you to have a background color of, let's go with blue violets, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, we can see this here now. So now I don't want to target the what, the paragraph, so I'm going to just go with dot p, and I'm going to say color to be what, white. Okay, color to be what, white. You can see this now. If you look at this very well, you can see that this text is touching the border of this blue, of these blue violets. Sorry, I was going to zoom in. Of these blue violets, you can see it's touching the border of this blue violet div. So if I want to create space within a particular element, like in this scenario now, I want to create space within a particular element. What do I use? What do I use? I am going to be using what? Margin. Okay, I'm going to be using what? Sorry, padding rather. Pardon me. Pardon me. We're going to be using what? Padding, meaning that what, I want to create space within this element. Okay, so and then when I do padding and I do 10 pixel, it's going to apply 10 pixel to the top, bottom, left, and right of this element. So now we can actually see that this text now is not clashing with the edge of the div again. Okay, this text now is not clashing with the edge of the div again. Okay, now makes sense. That makes sense, right? So now this is the way to apply padding on all sides. You can actually do padding, you can actually decide to do padding bottom, or you can decide to do padding top, or you can decide to do padding left, or you can decide to do padding right. But this here is a shorthand. Okay, when you say shorthand, we all know what shorthand means. So it's like a shortcut, yeah, to actually apply style. So when we do something like this, 10 pixel, it applies the style on the top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, so now if I do something like this, let's just comment this out. Okay, now let's do one. We have padding of 10 pixel, 20 pixel. I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to ask, can someone tell me how this is going to be applied? 10 pixel, 20 pixel. Anyone? Hello? Are we still together? Yeah, go on, Agora.
Yes, sir.
Go on.
Okay, the
I've
10
been
pixel will
listening to
apply
all
to the
the
top.
no video.
Tawheed, please. Thank you very much. So yeah, Agora, please go on.
The 10 will apply to the top and bottom, while the 20 left and right.
Awesome. Thank you very much. God bless you. So the 10 pixel goes for the top and the bottom, while the 20 pixel go for the what? Left and right. What if I now do padding and I have 10 pixel, 20 pixel, and 30 pixel? What happens here? Anyone? Guys, I'm not talking though. Guys, I'm not saying anything though.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, good.
I
Yeah, I
think
can hear you calling me.
for the 10 pixels, like top padding, 20 pixels, left and right padding, and 30 pixels should be the bottom.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So when we do 10, 20, 30 like this, okay, the first part goes for the top, the middle part goes for the left and right, and the last part goes for the what? For the bottom. Okay. Now, if I now make this 4, and I say that, okay, I want each part to have their own. So this is what? Top, right, left, sorry. Top, right, bottom, left. So it goes clockwise. Okay. Top,
Sorry, sir. I
yeah.
think your video is not moving anymore. The video is not playing. Oh,
Oh, really?
click on my hand. Yes.
Can you guys see my text editor? Okay, let me just stop sharing.
Hello.
Let me stop sharing. Let me share again. Please always call my attention when you don't get to see my screen again, please. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Tawheed, can you
Yes.
see my screen also? Tawheed.
Yes, I can see it now.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I'm sorry. That means it was on my part. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone. Yeah. So what we now do 10, 20, 30, 40 like this. This goes for the top, the right, the bottom, and the left. Okay. It goes clockwise. Okay. And like Balumi said, if we have this, 10 go for the top, 20 go for the left and right, and 30 goes for the bottom. Okay. Now, the same way is how we apply margin. Margin and padding are very, very similar. Okay. Margin and padding are very, very similar. So we can actually have something like this. So if I do this, so if I do this, it means that 10 pixels should go on the bottom, on the left, I mean on all sides of the. So if we go back to our browser, we can actually see that. Sorry, let me just clear this. So we can see the padding, we can see the margin rather. So margin is between a particular element and another element, and padding is within that particular element, within that element. Okay. Padding is within the element, margin is between two elements. Okay, makes sense, right? Awesome. So yeah, let's move on. So then let's talk about border. Let's talk about border width, border color, border radius, and all of this. So now I'm going to give, so to have a border, there's actually a shortcut. To have a border, we can go with 1 pixel solid black. So with these, I have done 3 things. The first part is border width. The next part is the border style. And the last part is border color. So you can either have this or you do border width. Sorry. Or you do border width like this, and then you put the style, and then you do and then you put the size rather, and then you do border style, and then you put the whatever you want, and then you do border color, and then you put that also. So you can either decide to go this way, and also you can even go down as specific as saying border right color, border right width, border right style. Okay, and then you can also do a shortcut of border right and 1 pixel solid, let's do 1 pixel solid black, and then border left we're going to say 1 pixel solid green, just to be able to see this in play. Okay, and then border top we're going to say, I'm sorry, so border top we're going to say, let's just go with 1 pixel solid blue, and then border bottom, no, border top, not top down, and then border bottom we're going to see 1 pixel solid red. Yeah, let's go with red. Okay, now, okay, let me remove the background color of this so that we can actually see this. Sorry. So we see that now, red on the bottom, blue on the top, black on the right, and green on the left. Or you can decide to go with this and remove all of this. Okay, mean border black on all sides. Okay, so now I want to ask you a question. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I mean, this is one of the things that we actually should talk about. So while you are writing your code, you did this, and then you came down and do this. What do you think is going to apply to your? What do you think what border color do you think your div is going to have? I don't want to go back. I don't want to open my browser because I mean the first thing you're going to see is the answer. So I'm going to just stay on this screen. I don't want to call name. I mean, I actually have a couple of names on my head, but I don't want to call name. Yeah, if you're raising your hand, please go on. If you're raising your hand, please go on. If you're raising your hand, please go on. Hello. Okay. Since no one is talking, Ajiboye, please go on.
Yes, sir. I think it will be the first one.
If you take the first one, okay,
Be the first
cool.
one.
Um, I'm trying to remember someone's name. Chioma, is Chioma on this call? I think there's a Chioma in this class. There's a Chioma in this class. There's a Chioma in this class. Okay, she's not on the call. Okay, then let's go with Doinsola. Please, what do you think is going to apply? Ajiboye said he's going to take the first one. What do you think is going to apply? Doinsola, are you there? Okay, if Doinsola is not there, then I'm going to call Agbola Osman.
Sir, it is the second one,
Yes,
sir.
the second one. Okay, I'm going to call one more person, and that's I need a female name. Oh god, I don't even remember you guys' name. I need a female name. I need a female name. Oh yeah, Pelumi. Yes, Pelumi.
Nkechi is there also. There's Nkechi also.
Exactly. I was going to call Nkechi, not Chioma. Yeah, I was going to call Nkechi, not Chioma. So yeah, Nkechi, what's going to get applied? The first, this first one or the second one?
I apologize, but I wasn't following this
Okay,
part,
so now,
so I can't
yeah,
answer.
just look at this here. I mean, is we are just doing a brush through. Okay, we've consumed this content in the elements. So we have border. We've specified the border here, and then we come down again and specify the border again. Which one do you think is going to apply?
The first one.
The first one. Okay. Awesome. Okay, let's just pick Balumi to have two boys, two girls. Yeah, I think that's fair. Two females. Sorry, not boys and girls. But you guys are not boys and girls, please. So female and two male. Balumi, please. Hello, Balumi, are you there?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm not
Which
sure,
one is going
sir.
to? No, I mean just pick one. Just pick a side.
Naturally.
Huh?
The first one, the first one.
Okay, so let's see what the answer is. Drum roll. So yeah, it's the second one. Because as the name implies, cascading style sheet. So the large style is going to be cascaded over the earlier ones. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I mean this has actually this would happen, this could happen, this used to happen. You've styled one particular element. Sorry, is someone saying something? So you start a particular element up at the beginning of your CSS, and you have a very long CSS. So you are on like on line 100 or like on line 150, and you are starting that element again. Now you are now expecting that wait, when you are now reading through your code, you're not saying that wait, why does this element have this color? You've forgotten that you've actually styled it down there. You change the style down there. Okay. I mean, there are some people that actually write CSS this way. Some people don't write CSS like come to the end of line to add new CSS. Some actually come here, push this down. If they want to add a new one, they push this down. If they want to come add a new one, they push it down. Like they push down the earlier written CSS. So now imagine you've written CSS down here. Now you've written this down here. You've changed the color, and now you are now changing the color here also. You're not looking at why is this color not applying, but you're seeing another color. Yeah, so that's because this last color is what is being cascaded over what you have here. Okay, I mean, there's actually a way to actually enforce it. So if I want to force this color now, I'm just going to do important, and then it's going to be what? Black. I mean, but then this does not make sense. This doesn't mean so. The only time that I think I get to use this is when you are using a framework and the or a framework or a library, and then the color is not really customizable. I mean, that time that we used to do Bootstrap, we used to have this edit that time, so we used to use important, like we used to slap important a lot. So yeah, so yeah, we'll talk about width, we'll talk about padding, we'll talk about margin. So that means we'll talk about the what? The box model. So now let's give me a minute. Let's move on to talk about, yes, the type of element. Sorry. We've talked about type of element in HTML. We have two types of elements: block level element and inline level element. Now, I want to call someone's name. I want to consider. I'm sorry. I mean, this is a summary class. This is a revision class. So yeah, when you are coming, you should be expecting that you're going to you be asked question. I mean, we are here to come and reform ourselves. If you don't get anything, ask question. When you are being asked question, you get more clarity on things. And I mean, when people get to answer question, you get to know people's opinion, and then you get to see maybe they are correct, and then you get to get corrections and all of those things. So yeah, I'm going to go on and ask Alex, what is the difference between a block level element and an inline level element? And give me one example each, please. I believe we actually talk about this on a weekend session also. Yeah, we've talked about this on a weekend session. Yeah, we have. Yeah. Alex. If Alex is not responding, can someone bail Alex out?
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. Hello, sir.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you, Alex. Go on.
Yes, sir. So, for a block element can start on a new line, while for an inline element, that one does not start on a new line.
Awesome.
For example, the paragraph, the P element is a block element which occupies
Paragraph.
two.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
Nice. Another one, another inline, and sorry, for inline elements rather. Give me an example.
And for inline, I think image, img.
Awesome. And then we have anchor tag also.
Yes, yes, yes.
We have anchor tag also. And then we have span. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
here now, we now want to talk about how you can now make that element a prodigal son. Now, this paragraph, so let me just come back here. Sorry, give me a minute. Let's come back here. Now, I want to let's have 3 paragraphs here. Now, sorry, not 3 paragraphs, rather. We have how many paragraphs? Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry. I've forgotten that I have changed the corridor to white. So that would make me bring these back. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Oh, yeah, before we go, let's quickly talk about this. Now, we can see that these elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is outside. Can someone tell me what I can do to make all of the elements show? Or I don't want it, at least I don't want it to spill out like this. So let's just get to that. So let's just skip that part. So what you can actually do to this is what? Overflow. Okay, you can control the overflow behavior of these elements. So you just go into the elements and say that what? Okay, so let me move one of these border. Let me remove one of the, I think I prefer the multicolor one. So now you can now say, let me just comment it out rather. So I can come here and I'll say, I want to control the overflow behavior. Okay, I don't want it spilling out. So I can say that overflow of what? Scroll. So we have options of scroll, hidden, clip, and words. Visible. Yeah, which is visible is actually the default, meaning that it's going to show all of the overflowing content. Okay. Now this is overflow what? Visible. I'm sorry, scroll. Meaning that even when the content is overflowing, you'll be able to scroll to see the entire element. Okay, this is overflow scroll. If I do overflow hidden, this is what happens. Okay, the elements are overflowing, but I'm not going to see them because I did what? Overflow hidden. Okay, now you can actually do overflow X or overflow Y. Overflow Y means that vertically, when there is an overflow, what do I want to happen? Overflow X means horizontally, when there is an overflow, what should happen? Okay, so instead of having overflow like this, we can decide to do overflow Y of what? Scroll. And you see that you'll be able to sort scroll, and then you don't get that extra line that was actually applying here. Let me just do this back to scroll and show you what I'm saying. Scroll, uncomment this and comment this. You see that you can see a white space down here. Let me remove this. I can see a white space down here, even though it's not scrolling on the x-axis, but then the white space is still there. So to avoid that, you just do what? Overflow on the axis that you want to be what? Scroll. You see that? And then the scroll is actually appearing only on the x-axis. Okay. Now I want to give us an assignment on this call. Okay. I want to give us an assignment on this call. So there is, okay, yes, there is actually, let me just say, there is actually a way that you can have an overflow scroll, but this scroll bar will not be visible. Okay, you can actually have an overflow of scroll like this, but then the scroll bar will be hidden, it will not be visible. So I'm giving you an assignment to find out how you can do that. So we're going to create that assignment on the classroom. So how you are going to submit that assignment is you are going to write you're going to just be submitting the text. So you are going to write the style, the CSS that is going to hide that particular scroll bar, and then you're going to paste it in the assignment for submission. So that's how you're going to be submitting the assignment. So let's move on. So we'll talk about the overflow scroll, and yeah, we were going to talk about something else before we got distracted with overflow scroll. Give me a minute. That would be, sorry. Yeah, that would be what exactly. So now we want to make yeah, we want to make these elements, these block level elements. Let me just copy them out. Because them being inside this place would not do me any favor. Paste it here. Now we have the paragraph here. Okay, a very quick one. I mean, I've actually covered this in this that I'm doing, this question I want to ask, or that I want to talk about here. I've actually covered it in this week's LMS content. So I'm just going to talk about it here, and then we'll go through it. You'll be able to like go through it also in the LMS content. So now I did a paragraph, okay, of what? Color of what? White. Now it's affecting this one because my background color is white. Now I don't want this one to have paragraph of white. Okay, I don't want it to have color of white. I only want the divs inside this and the paragraph inside this first div to have color of white. What do I do? So there is something we call pseudo selector. Okay, pseudo selector. For pseudo selector, I'm going to just say what? Dot first div and then P. What does this mean? This means that what? Only the paragraphs that are inside the first div should get this style. So every other paragraph on that page would not get this style. Guys, am I making sense, please? So every other paragraph on that page will not get that style. As you can see here, look at it now. You can see now, all of these paragraphs that are outside that div are now what? Black. Only the paragraphs in the divs are what? White. And that's because I did what? I did pseudo selector here. I'm saying first div, okay? Inside the first div, only the paragraph inside the first div should have this style. Okay? So, I mean, you might actually be going through a code base and then you are seeing something like this, seeing something like this, something like this, seeing something like this, and then you're saying something like this, and you'd be like, what is going on here? So what this literally means is that, okay, you are looking for the span that is inside a parent, a paragraph element, and the paragraph element is inside a test class, and the test is inside what? A first class. Okay, so this is the pseudo selector. We have tons of pseudo selector. We have adjacent, sibling, all of those. So you guys can make your research about that. I'm going to ask question about it in the next class. I mean, that's for sure. I'm going to ask question about it in the next class. So yeah, now these divs are showing. Now let's go back to making this div the prodigal son. Okay, let's go back to making this div the prodigal son. Now in our HTML here, okay, should I wrap these divs around? Let me just write a div around this. I'm going to call this. Let me just give it a class name of what's parent. And now this is the parent. Now I want to change the behavior of this paragraph. I don't want it to be what? To come out block by default. So how do we do this? So I can actually go into my CSS. Sorry, I don't know why I'm having a lot of. Okay, so that should. Yeah, this one's now. So I can actually go into my CSS and say that, okay, inside the parent, all of the paragraph inside should have display of what? Inline. And then when we go back, you see that. So your paragraph that actually used to be, what? A block level element, you can make it an inline element. And then your image, img tag, that is, don't let us do img tag. Your anchor, that is actually a block level, an inline element, you can change the display to a what? A block level element. Before I save, let's see what it looks like. Where's the anchor tag? Let me zoom out a little bit, sorry, so that we can, you see that. So this is the anchor tag here. Because it's an inline element, is the reason why it's sitting on the same line with this image. Now, when I save this and go back to it, bam, you see that it starts behaving like a block level element. Okay, so in essence, we can actually change the behavior of an element. So if an element is inline element, we can change it to block level element. If an element is block level element, we can change it to what? Inline element. Now there's now one that we call inline block inline block. Okay, so here, inline block. Can someone tell me the difference between inline element, inline block, and block level elements? Let me go back to the call and see someone that I want to fish out if nobody talks in the next 2 minutes. We've covered this in the LMS content, so that's why I'm expecting everyone to answer, or anyone rather to answer. So yeah, anyone, guys, the difference between inline, the difference between inline element, inline block, and what? Block level elements.
I know it's a vampire. This place.
Your mic is unmuted, Abola.
My battery is getting low.
Sir, I have to answer the question.
Oh, go on, please. Go on, please. Thank you.
So a block element is an element that takes up the full weight of the page.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome.
An inline block only takes the space that it needs.
That's required. Awesome. Awesome.
Yes. While an inline block combines the attributes of a block element and an inline element.
God bless you, Abola. God bless you, Abola. So by default, you cannot give an inline element width and height. But when you make an inline element into an inline block element, then you can now give it width and height. So then that way it's combining the attributes, the features, the behavior of the block level element and inline together into one. Okay, so when we do inline block, it is combining the behavior of what? A block level element and an inline level element together. So it's going to have that behavior. So that way it will come inline and then you can give it what? You can give it height and width. Thank you very much, Abola. Thank you very, very much for that. Yeah, Victor, go on. You have a question.
Please, can you give an example of the inline block element?
It's not an example, actually. We can actually just practice it. Let's see that.
Yes,
So we have we have let me just remove this. So now this is being inline. If you do inline block, save this. Where's our anchor tag? So the anchor tag is still what? Inline. Okay, because what? We moved it from what? Block. Now we can now give it what? An height. We can now give it an what? A what? Oh, sorry, let me give it a background color so we can actually see it in effect. Background color. Background color of black. Okay, sorry, yeah. So what gets applied is margin and padding, rather. Sorry, it's not the height and it's not the width and height. So a block level element can get margin and padding. And inline elements don't get margin and padding. But when you make an when you make an inline level element into an inline block, okay, there's a lot of rhymes in this in this whole thing. So when you make an inline level element into an inline block, okay, it becomes what? Then you can actually now apply margin. Now let me give this margin to the that will be to the left, right? Okay, let me give it a text of white first. Text of text of white, and then I'll give color of white, and then now let's give it margin to the that'll be left, right? So margin to the left now of 10 pixel. You see that now? You can see it actually moved. And then like if you give it a padding, let's give it a padding of 10 pixel. You see that also. Okay. So that is the difference between inline block and inline level element. Okay. Awesome. So next up, we are going to be talking about Z index. Oh, we'll talk about overflow. Now let's talk about Z index. Okay. To talk about Z index, I'm going to now take us back to my index.html page, which is here. Now, we actually saw this, we saw this, we saw this in the LMS content. Sorry guys, give me a minute. I need to get my laptop to a power source. So yeah, we saw this in the LMS content. Okay, we saw this design, this particular design in the LMS content. Now, this green background that's up here, this green background that's up here has a word, a display, a position of what? Fixed. You see that's how it's actually fixed. You see that it's fixed. Okay, so now let's quickly talk about position before we talk about Z index then. So we have position. Okay, position is one of the attributes, one of the style properties that you can actually give to your element. Okay, when you do a position of fixed, this is what happened. This green background is what happened. It hangs permanently, and every other thing goes under it. It hangs there, like it just stays there permanently because it is what? Fixed. Now, when we do a position of static, sticky rather. So this picture here that you're looking at here, this picture here, okay, is actually sticky. Okay, but when we do a position of sticky, it's going to sit in where it's supposed to sit. But when it gets to the point where it is about or it is supposed to move out of the screen, it hangs there. Unlike fixed is going to hang by default. By default, it's going to hang. Okay, but when we're talking about sticky, when it only hangs when it gets to that position when it's about to leave. Guys, are we together, please? I need a reaction. If we are together, just give me a thumbs up, a clap, something, an emoji. Just give me a reaction. Okay, awesome. So fixed by default is going to be hang. Like by default, is just bam, hanging there. But sticky is not going to hang. It's going to stay in its normal position. It's going to stay in normal position. It's very cunning. But when it's supposed to go out like this, it now hangs. Okay. It's now what? It now hangs. Okay. Now, relative is like the default position. So when we do a position of relative, okay, the element is going to stay in its normal position because by default, every position has a property of what? Position relative. But when we now do position of absolute, so this let's go to my, let me go to my style. Give me a minute. Let's go to the style. So let's go to the CSS. So this is CSS. Position of absolute. Yeah, this is the image. So it has a position of what? Absolute. So when we do a position of absolute, it has, if for your own sake, yeah, for layout sake, it should be inside a what? A relative parent. So let's go back to the index.html. Let's look for that absolute content. So this is the absolute content, and the parent is what? New div. So if you look at this new div, it has a what? Position of what? Relative. Okay, that is why this child is absolute to the parent, because it has a position of relative. So now imagine that the parent does not have the position, parent does not have a position of relative like this. What happens? Bam, we see that it's going to hang itself to the what? To the browser window by default. It's going to place itself in the what? In the browser window. Guys, are we together, please? It's going to put itself in the browser window because the browser window by default, like the parent, like the root HTML element, has the root HTML body, rather, sorry, has what? A has a what? A position of relative. Okay, so it's going, if it does not see any parent, if it does not see any parent or grandparent that has a position of what? Relative, it just goes all the way out to the browser window. Okay, so now let's just bring the parent relative back, sorry. And then when we check this, you see that now it's now sticking to the parent. So when we do position, we can have position of fixed, meaning that we want it to hang, and then you can now specify where you want it to hang. Currently, if you look at this, the hanging of this is what? To the top, it should be 0, meaning that I want it to hang directly at the top, no spacing at the top. To the right, 0. To the top, but to the left, 0. You can see that. Okay, if I want it to go to the bottom, I can just do this what? Instead of this being the top, I can just do bottom, 0, and then bam, you can see it's sitting at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so that's position. Now, after speaking about position, I'll bring us to what? Z index. Now, let's move this Z index here and see what happens. Did you guys see what happened? Now, this element is still hang. That green element is still hang, right? It's still hang. But what happened? Every other element are what? Going over it. Why? Because, sorry. Why? Because by default, when the way elements are going to be stacked is the first element that comes goes down, the next element that comes goes on over it, the next element that comes goes over it. So now this fixed div here is one that is here. So it's the first element, so it's like below the stack. This one has come over it, so it's going to like go over it. This one have all of the elements came after it, so they are going to like go over it. They are going to have higher Z index. Okay, so with Z index, you can now change how you want your element stacked. Okay, with Z index, you can now change how you want your element stacked. Now, I don't want it to be going, I mean, if I have a navbar in my website, I don't want it to be behind every other element. I want it to be hung over every other element. And that's where Z index comes to play. So if I make Z index 100, then that means it's going to be over every other element on this page. Guys, does that make sense, please? At this point, I think I want to hear a voice. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, I think yes, that's what we're going to stop for today. So in our next class, like I said, we are okay. Yes, let's just establish it. We are going to be meeting. I don't know if we should do midweek. So the reason why I want us to do midweek is because I want us to consume last week's elements content. Oh, today is Sunday, right? Yes. Last week elements content, I want us to consume it today, tomorrow, Tuesday, so that we can have a review on Thursday. And then the elements content for this week is now going to be posted on Wednesday. And then we can now consume it Thursday, Friday, and then we can now meet on Saturday to have a review. Okay. So yes, we're going to meet on Wednesday. I mean, most likely it's going to be at night. Yeah, because I mean I know that people have their day-to-day activities. Some people go to work, some people go to school. I mean, I go to work also. So yeah, we're going to be having it at night. Let me just go back and see you guys' face. So we're going to be having it at night, and I'm going to be having it at night, most likely. So yeah, I'm going to see you guys on Wednesday. But before we go, any question, any question, any clarity you want to get, any observation, anything you want to say, please go on. The ground is yours. The floor is open. Yeah, Victor. Yeah, go on.
Yes, please. I want you to explain the Z index again. I didn't really get it.
Okay, so let me reshare my screen, and we're going to do this on a new. Can you guys see my screen? Victor, can you see my screen? Victor?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's go back to our HTML. Now let's create a new HTML file. Or let's just use the second. Yeah, the second. But we're going to now get rid of every element here, just for the learning sake. And now go into app.css, remove every style also. Okay, cool. Now let's close this. Now we have, let's have an header tag, okay, that have a text of what? Another weekend class. Another weekend class, okay? Now we're going to come in here. So I actually like doing CSS reset. Okay, CSS reset means you want to remove every default margin and padding on every of your elements, and then you want to make the box size into your border box. So yeah, so this is it. This is CSS reset. So anytime you're writing your code, I mean, it's always good to actually do CSS reset, because by default some elements have margin and padding. So when you are giving your own margin and padding, the existing margin and padding are going to be adding up to it. So CSS reset is actually very good. So now let's talk about the header
Sorry,
now. So
I want to
yes,
ask a
go on.
question. Okay, so
Um, can you
for that box sizing, can you hear
hold
me?
on? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
For that box sizing, it
Yes,
is two types, content box and
and border
one other
box.
one.
Yeah.
Yes, what's the difference between the two and what are they used for?
Okay, we're going to talk about it. Let's just go through Victor, right? Yeah, Victor's question first. Okay, now let's make this have a background color of green, and also let's save this and let's see what it looks like first. Sorry. Okay, you should go to second rather. Second. Is there anyone looking to second here? So yeah, this is looking to second. Okay, now we can see that. So I wanted to have a color of white and a padding on all sides of let's go with 20 pixels for now. And I want it to have a of font size of, let's go with 30 pixels. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, this is cool. Okay, this is cool. Awesome. Now I want this element so that when I'm scrolling, okay, if I am scrolling, I don't want this element to move. Okay, so let's do something real quick. Let's give our body and height. So the reason we are doing this is to enable scroll. So let's just do an height of 1000 VH. So yeah, there's going to be a scroll. Awesome. Now, when I'm scrolling, I don't want this element to scroll. I rather want it to hang. Okay, I rather want it to hang. So what do I do? Position of what? Fixed. Save this. Okay, we see that now it have hang. It is not moving. So now I don't want it to just hang like this. I want it to hang across the whole screen. I mean across the whole, to cover the whole width of the screen. So to do that now, we can now say that okay, on the top it should be 0. Hang to the top of the screen. Now to the left and to the window also. I mean, if I actually do 10, this is what happened. Sorry, give me a minute. You see that? If I actually do 10 pixels, you see there's a space here. So it's not hanging directly. But then I want it to do 0. Hang on it directly. Okay? Now, to the left, to the right now, I want it to also be what? 0. And by that, bam, it's going to now hang all around my screen. So now I'm scrolling. Now it have hang. Awesome. Now let's have another element. Now we are going to have now let's have the img. You should go into assets, images. Let's go with bg. Let's just call this, give it an let's call it background. Okay, this is what it looks like. Now let's give it a class name. I mean, we actually don't need to give it a class name, child. Oh, okay, let's just give it a class name of let's just call it bg1. let's call it bg1. Okay, and now let's come in here and say dot bg1. I want it to have margin to the top of about let's see what 50 pixel looks like. Okay, it's not totally out. Then let's do 100 pixel. Okay, it's out. Now it's out, right? Awesome. Now let's now have another div down here. Let's call this parent. Okay, and now let's give this now let's give this an image also. The image is going to come from assets, images. Let's use this one, and then give it let's just call it what let's just give it this name as the alt. Okay, and now we're going to give it a class name of bg2. Okay, give it a class name of what? bg2. So now coming in here, now the parent is going to have a position, okay, of what? Relative. 1 is going to have a background color of what? Green. 2, now it's going to have a width of 100% and an height of let's do 500 pixel. Okay, so now the child, which is the parent dot img rather. Now this image that is inside this one now, and I want you to have a position of what? Absolute, and it should be fixed to the bottom 0, and then to the right 0. Save this. Can actually see this. Sorry, what's going on here? Position of relative. Oh wait, it's not even showing. Background color green. Background color green. Okay, background color green. Let's change this to blue and let's see. Hold on. Let's change this height to let's do 200 pixel. What's going on here? I have a parent. Oh, look at me. Yeah, look at me. So instead of having div, I was putting div n. I'm sorry. So yeah. So now we have our div here. We have our new div here now. We have our new div here. Did you guys notice? Did you notice something there, Victor? We have this div here now. Now, when this div is scrolling, you see that it is covering that div. Why? I don't want you to cover the div. Okay, so the quick solution, I mean, the solution, which is actually the solution, is not a quick solution. I mean, that's a proper solution. Okay, the solution is now the Z index. Okay, this element that is covering it has higher index than it. That is why it is covering it. Victor, are you here?
Yeah, sure.
So this element that is covering it has an higher index. That is why it is covering it. So now, what I want to do now is I want it to what? I don't want it to be under. I rather want it to come at the top. So that means it has to have what? It has to have what? Higher Z index. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It has to have what? Higher Z index. Then that's when we will now go in here and I'll say that okay, my header or this exactly. So this header now should now have a Z index of what? Z index of what? 100. I mean, 100 is very high. We can actually do 50, which should still work, but then let's just stick with 100. I mean, you will actually see code of you will see something like this. So this when we see something like this is that I don't want anything ever to ever come over this, but then I mean it's too way too much. So let's just do 100 for the case here, and then we'll come back here. We can see it now. Okay, you can see that the Z index now makes that element to be able to what go over it. So basically, Z index is what how your elements are going to be, how your elements are being stacked on the window. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Give me a minute. So it's basically what. So Z index basically means how your elements are being stacked on the window. Okay, how your elements are being stacked on the window. So if you give it the higher Z, the elements with the higher Z index, rather, sorry, the elements with the higher Z index would appear at the top, while the element with the lower Z index would appear behind. Okay, so it's like I don't know if you guys work with Figma, with design tool, or with Microsoft Word. When you are bringing in an image, you can do you can when you're importing an image, you can do push to the back, and you can do to the front and all of those things. So yeah, basically that was the indexness. Yeah, Victor, you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, I just want to say this. Is it like a layer position when you say
Yeah, exactly, like a layer. Yeah,
yeah,
like a layer. So you know when you are bringing an image inside your inside your Microsoft Word,
Figma?
and then you are pushing it to the back, something like that. Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right,
It's a
thank you.
layer thing. Yeah. So for hey, who asked this question? Was it Victor?
I'm the one, sir.
Oh yeah. So you're asking me what's the difference between the two properties, the two values of the box sizing, which is
Yes, sir.
content box and border box. So by default, yeah, what's going to apply is border box. Is content box rather. The default is content box. That's why you see that I'm changing it to border box here. So by default, when you set something like this, let's do a quick demo. You have okay, we already have a div here. So when you have a div like this, and then you do div of width is 200 pixel. Sorry, width is 200 pixel. Height is not in areas rather. Height is okay. Let's just go with this. Padding is 20 pixel rather, and then you now have a border of 10 pixels, solid blue, whatever. So basically, what happens here is this: the width 200, yeah, is going to apply only to the content area. Okay, so let's see this. Let's see this in action. So I'm going to create another div here aside from this parent div. So let's have a div down here that says let's just give it another. Let's give the class name of another. Okay, and then come here inside here, and now we change this to dot another, and then it's going to have Let's give it an height of. Let's just stop here for now. Let's see. So now, oh, I'm doing background blue again. I need to change this background. Sorry. Let's change it to background. Okay, no, there's no background actually. Just need to go. Yeah, we can actually see this, but then it's being jam packed to this. So let's just change this to red. I don't want to do margin or padding. I don't want to do margin, so let's just change it to red. So what happens here is the width, the 200 pixel is going to apply only to the so this content area, this white that you're seeing that is supposed to take in your content is what is going to be 200 pixel. So it is not going to add the border. Are you with me now, Victor? It's not going to add the border. So, but then if you do border box is going to make sure that with your border and your content and your padding, everything is going to be equals to what? Everything is going to be equals to what? 200 pixel for the width. Are you with me? Everything is going to be what? 200 pixel for the width. But when you are doing content box, only the content, okay, is what will have that 200 pixel. So as a result of this, the entire width of this element, okay, let's go back to box modeling now. When you want to know the width of when we are talking about the width of an element, the width of an element is the border size, the padding, the margin, and the content itself. I'm reiterating over the box model that we just talked about today. When we're talking about box model, what comes into play? Margin, padding, border, and the content itself. Okay, those are what gives you that. Those are what accumulates to the what? The height and the width of a particular element. Now, when you now do content box, the total size of a content box element is going to be what? The border plus the padding plus the content size itself, the width that you gave to it. That is what is going to. So as a result of this, now we said the width is 200. The border is what? 20 pixel. Sorry, the border is 10 pixel. The padding is what? 20 pixel. So as a result of this, 10 plus 20 is what? 30 plus 200, that's 230. So the width of this element now is going to be 230. Let's inspect this. So the width of this now is going to be what? 230. Sorry, I'm trying to show this. So the width of this is going to be what? 230. But then when you change it to, oh wait, I didn't change this to content box. So hey, this is universal. Sorry. Oh, you see that the style actually changed. You see that the size actually changed. Let me go back. Let's refresh. You see, let me now change. Let me bring in back the what? The border box. The border box. You see that border box is going to make sure that the whole thing, okay, let's inspect. I want to show you this thing. I want to show you the actual size going on. So let's inspect. So you can see that the size is what? 220 pixel, 20 by 60. That's the size. But when you remove this and you come back here, you see the size now is 260. Why is it 260? Because you say 20 pixel for the actual size plus the margin, which is 10, plus the padding 2020, because we said padding 20, that's 20 on the left, 20 on the right. Okay, 10 on the left, 10 on the right, that's 30 plus 30 plus 30 is what? 60 plus the 200, that's 260. Okay, so in essence, what we are saying here is when you do border box, the width that you set for that element is going to entail the padding, the border, and the content itself. But when you leave it at content box, the width is going to be only for that, only for the content. It's going to be only for the content. The margin and the padding are going to take their own space differently. Victor, I don't know if I'm able to do justice to your question.
Yes, I understand.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Yes, any other person, please. Guys, we are here to learn. We are here to ask questions. Any other person, please. Okay. In the absence of any other questions, so we are going to call it a day here, and I'm going to see you guys on Wednesday. So the time will be communicated by Mr. Isaac or Ajiboye. Thank you. Okay, yeah, go on, calling me.
So
But let me
you
go on,
said that
please.
you were going to talk about the earlier.
Oh, the assignment. Yes. So the assignment that we have currently, hmm, I I saw someone's submission and I fear gripped me. I'm not going to say what the person did, but I mean fear gripped me, Sha. So for the assignment submission, yeah. So I believe that we've not talked about Git and GitHub yet. So I'm not going to expect us to do anything about Git and GitHub. So what I just expect you to do is write your code, okay, structure your folder, okay, and zip the entire folder, upload it to Google Drive, and then get the link for that particular drive and submit the link. I'm going to go over it again. Write your code in your structure your code the way you want it. Okay.
Sorry,
I'm talking about the assignment, yes.
I don't. Is it for the assignment?
I'm talking about the assignment that has been given before, not the
Okay.
assignment that so now we have two assignments now. The first assignment is the one that the first
No,
assignment
I
is the
don't.
one that talk about our portfolio. Okay, that one that we are supposed to build a portfolio with HTML and CSS. Now, the second assignment is the one that I just gave us in this class right now, which is for us to
Okay.
find out how you can actually hide the scroll bar of an overflow scroll element. Okay, that one, yeah, like I said, you just need to copy, just need to write your CSS, just copy it and drop the CSS. That's how you're going to submit that one. And then as for the first assignment, as for the first assignment, write your code in the folder. Now zip the root folder of your project. Okay, zip it, upload it to Google Drive, and then get the link out. Okay, and make sure the link is accessible publicly, please, 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 so that we don't have to be messaging you to come and be on to make the link public. Please make sure the link is public. So share the link, and then we are going to go through it, and then we're going to access it. So you are going to be submitting just the link, not the entire files. Just the link to that Google Drive. We're going to access the Google Drive, get all of the files from there. Thank you. So the second assignment, I said the assignment is we talk about overflow scroll, right? Overflow scroll, and then it shows you a scroll bar. Oh, I already removed all of those content. Ouch, sorry. So overflow scroll, and then it shows you the scroll bar, and then you can scroll. Okay. I think I still have it. Let me share my screen. Let me show you what I'm saying. Please confirm when you can see my screen. Just say something when you can see my screen. Hello. Hello.
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay, now let's look at this. Now look at this element. Okay, it has an overflow, but then it's an overflow of scroll. Okay, now what I'm saying is there's actually a way that you can actually hide the scroll bar that it will not show. So the assignment is for us to go make our research, make our findings on how you can actually hide this scroll bar, and it will still be scroll like this, but then the scroll bar is going to be hidden. So that's the assignment. So what you just do is, if this is your answer, you just copy all of this answer like this, and then you paste it in the assignment for submission. So yeah, thank you, Palumi, for reminding me. Thank you very much. Any other thing, guys? Okay, so in the absence of any other thing, we are going to call it a day. Thank you. Even though it's Sunday and the weekend is almost over, but still enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.